So a portion of managerial accounting that you work on in the first exam is something called inventory flow. And this basically just tracks the life of a product from the direct materials that are used to create it all the way to the cost of the product itself whenever you sell it. So to figure all of this out and all the questions within this subject, you just need to look at these four equations: direct materials used, cost of goods manufactured, total manufacturing cost, and cost of goods sold. So direct materials used is just the beginning raw materials minus the end raw materials plus raw materials purchases. The cost of goods manufactured equals the beginning work in progress minus the end work in progress plus the total manufacturing cost. Now, if you notice, this total manufacturing cost, which is used in the previous equation, equals direct materials used plus direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. Now, I kind of have this little symbol here because this is what I would say the most important equation you need in Mac. So if you're going to memorize anything for this from this first exam, I would really recommend that you memorize this equation. Direct materials used plus direct labor plus manufacturing overhead equals the total cost to make something. Now, the final equation is the cost of goods sold, and this just equals the beginning finished goods inventory minus the end finished goods inventory plus the cost of goods manufactured. Now, if you note, this cost of goods manufactured is also taken from actually another equation. So in these types of problems, all you're going to have to do is determine exactly what variable you are looking for from the question, and then you're going to have to figure out which equation has that variable, and you're going to have to plug in all the other variables that you do have. Now, oftentimes, say you were asked to find the beginning work in progress of a period, you would have to plug in the cost of goods manufactured, end work in progress, and total manufacturing cost, and rework the equation in order to find the beginning work in progress. Now, they may very likely not give you the total manufacturing cost, so you may first have to find the direct materials used, DL, and manufacturing overhead. And again, they may not even give you the direct materials used, so you may need to find that equation first. So by kind of plugging in all these equations, it can make a question more complex. However, all it comes down to in the end is just plugging in variables that you don't have in order to find variables. Plugging in variables that you do have in order to find variables that you do not have. So one more thing to note on this topic is just what is the difference between cost of goods manufactured and cost of goods sold. And the difference can actually be explained within their names. So the cost of goods manufactured is the amount of money a company spent in manufacturing all of the goods they made that period. So let's say you made 100 units of something, and they were $2 per unit to make. Therefore, the cost of goods manufactured, or the total amount of money you spent manufacturing units in a period, would be $200. Conversely, the cost of goods sold is simply just the total amount of money you spent on making items that you sold. So you may have spent $200 in total during a period making 100 units, but if you only sold 2 units, then at $2 per unit, the cost of goods sold is only $4. Because again, you only sold 2 units, so the cost of the units that you sold is only $4. So again, just use these equations and plug in variables that you do have to find those that you don't. And you should be able to rework all of these in order to find anything on here. And just be really careful that you use the exact variables that are given. Make sure using, for DM used, beginning raw material, end raw material purchases. One of the hardest part of these questions is just determining exactly what you're looking for and making sure that you plug in the exact right variables. So that is how you work with inventory flow and follow a product through its life cycle.